Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, countrymen and women. We would like to welcome you to the joint press briefing of the Tonse Pamodzi Alliance. It is a press briefing which is very specific to updates on the electoral process and activities that are happening this week as we prepare to have our actual elections next week on Thursday. My colleague, Council Celestine Mukandila, and myself, supported by Chairman Elections, Honorable Jaffer Mwakalombe, and our provincial district officials, we want to speak to you specifically on the issue of the post staff, the ECZ post staff issue. We would like to provide guidelines and also to give correct feedback in terms of how things are supposed to be done and how things are supposed to happen. This morning, we had a joint delegation that went to the ECZ offices. We engaged ECZ in order to establish the speculations, the rumors, the gossips, as well as the political frustrations and anger that is coming from many of our stakeholders and the many Zambian citizens concerning the purported lists of post staff. The ECZ list of post staff in different districts, where we are seeing on social media names of a list of people without names to be purported to be the post staff that are going to administer elections next week. So we engaged ECZ officially this morning to find out if that is their correct position, if it is that's a new norm, where ghosts, only with NRCs, people are not known, are being published in the face of our stakeholders to administer elections as post staff. But above all, there is an issue we also raised with my brother and the team that went to ECZ this morning in terms of why the people who sat for aptitude tests as post staff, meaning they were given some form of assessment, aptitude assessments, and consequently some passed and they were picked. Later on, their names were posted. But few hours and in some places few days later, they were instructed to bring the names down. And consequently, the district electoral officers in some places went ahead to bring new lists of people never sat for aptitude tests and never passed to be the so-called post staff to administer elections next week. So this was our broad point of discussion with ECZ this morning, and it was a very specific point of discussion. With us, we were received by 3 ECZ officials. Director, Operations, acting, isn't it, Council?
Yeah.
So the Director, Operations, who is acting, he was also anchored by the Commission Secretary, meaning the lawyer, and the Electoral Commission Public Relations Officer. We discussed these things at length, and we are hereby going to give you feedback as well as guidance. We are speaking to the candidates across the country of NRP, UP, and RP, but we're also speaking to other opposition candidates who are stakeholders in this election. We are speaking to our countrywide membership tests and passed last week. The people are supposed to be post-staff countrywide, applied transparently. They were called for an aptitude test, and only those who sat for the aptitude test in different districts and they were picked are the people who should be considered in the final list of the post-staff. Any list that will come from the district electoral officer or anybody, or the district commissioner in some cases, or any person purporting it to be the list of the post-staff in the district must be rejected by our stakeholders and our members countrywide. So we want to appeal to the district electoral officers based on the information we got from ECZ head office and the commission director and his team, that we are aware of what is happening. We are following closely in terms of those manipulations in some places of the post-staff lists. We want the district electoral officers to stick to the legally established procedure to publish names and NRC numbers of the people that sat for the aptitude tests as post-staff in all the districts. And that's our agreement we secured today with ECZ. And ECZ gave us this blessing that we speak to our members countrywide and Zambians to guide and to emphasize that any list of post-staff that constitute people who never sat for an aptitude test must be rejected. That's number one. Number two is that, as I said, our members, our candidates countrywide and Zambian citizens must demand from the district electoral officer that the list of the post-staff must only constitute the people who sat for aptitude tests last week and passed. No changes, no manipulations, no mingalato to the post-staff lists. We have secured that agreement with the ECZ at head office, and we agree with them that that's where it's supposed to be. Our district officials, our provincial officials, our constituency wards, and branch officials, and all stakeholders involved. All eyes on the district electoral officer. Now it is all eyes on the district electoral officer. We are calling for all citizens and stakeholders, media, civil society, traditional leaders, and the church. All eyes on the district electoral officer. We do not want any manipulation in terms of the post-staff. We don't want a list, a strange list, to come from the back door without a procedure to be published as a list of post-staff. We have agreed with ECZ that that must be rejected and denounced and must not be allowed anywhere. This recruitment of the post-staff is supposed to be done transparently at district level and in a manner that raises the credibility of the election. The reason why this issue, we will take it very personal as Tonse Pamodzi Alliance, is because the integrity and the credibility of an election is anchored on the process. And the process of recruiting presiding officers, as well as post-staff in general, is one ingredient that can either undermine the integrity of the election or it can enhance it. That's the reason why we are simply saying that we are now setting our eyes on the district electoral officers to do the right thing according to the law, according to the electoral code of conduct, and according to other regulations that govern our electoral process. So that's the first issue we needed to address. I'll ask now my colleague to add and to go to the next issue around the same issue I've just raised. Council.
Thank you very much, countrymen and women. So in the same vein, very important to note that we have since given marching orders through my colleague that all eyes on the district electoral officers. And the reason is simple. There were some lists that were published, lists of NRC numbers, and those NRC numbers were of those people who passed the aptitude tests. And going forward from the instruction from the Electoral Commission of Zambia that was given to DEOs yesterday was that they must publish lists of NRC numbers plus their names, their full names. Simply put, if any DEO produces a list that is different in terms of NRCs from the NRCs that were initially published, that raises alarm. That person is trying to undermine our democracy, and that person may as well be reported to the nearest police station, because that person doesn't mean well for this country. The Electoral Commission of Zambia has guided that the lists will correlate with the NRCs that were initially posted. So today, by midday, we're already midday, by close of business today, all those districts that will produce lists that differ with the ones whose NRCs were given initially and sat for the aptitude test, we must be able to monitor and give reports immediately. So all our post staff, all our agents, all our structures are hereby directed as such to pay attention, all eyes on the district electoral officers. I think this information is extremely clear. Our democracy cannot be allowed to be undermined by selfish individuals, those who don't mean well for the country. I think going forward, the other critical issue which is there is that we must enhance communication amongst the stakeholders, communication between our poll agents. The DEOs must be able to communicate
in these post staff. The next thing that is coming is for our agent to be given an opportunity for a stakeholder engagement, so that we are given the do's and don'ts. So our agents are hereby directed to pay attention to the instruction that will be coming from the DEOs. That instruction will be coming in the next few days, but before the elections. And in the same vein, the Zambian people are encouraged. Those that have already been accredited as monitors, let us ensure that we monitor these elections, because these elections will be won at the polling station. We are aware of the machinations of the UPND and the violence they intend to unleash on poll day. We want to inform the Zambian people and our people that on poll day, all polling stations throughout the country, we have since deployed internet gadgets to be able to allow us to communicate effectively with all polling stations. At that time, I think the moment we see anything that appears to be strange, we are directing that you are free to go live on Facebook or on a social media platform so as to report all the machinations of the UPND. I think the world deserves to see what is happening in this country. The world deserves to know that Brian Mundubile is the people's president. He is the people's president. The Zambian people have decided, and we are just waiting to affirm through the ballot. Otherwise, as it stands, the Zambian people have decided. And we also wish to thank the people of Western Province for protecting our president, the people's president. Because the people of Western Province have braved tear gas, they have braved the violence of the UPND, and they have said, we shall protect this individual, because it is one Zambia and one nation. The love they have shown us is out of this world. We really appreciate the people of Western Province, for the love they have shown President Brian Mundubile and the protection they have given him. Unless there's anything else.
Yeah. Just to add the last point, I think as we close, is the issue of Western Province. As my colleague and my counterpart has indicated, we are indebted to the people of Barosseland for preserving the life of our incoming president and his running mate, the incoming vice president. We saw the violence and the brutality that was schemed against their lives. But the people of Barosseland stood with them and protected them and shielded them. As we speak, as they move today, and even the subsequent days, we are comfortable knowing that the people of Barosseland have established a human shield around President Brian Mundubile and his running mate. So we are thankful to them, we are thankful to the Kuta, the traditional leadership of Barosseland, the citizens of Barosseland, for what they have done to President Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu by standing with him, protecting him, and volunteering to be guarding him as he moves from one place to the other. The last point in this vein is that there should be no place which is a no-go area for anyone in Zambia. And we want to make it clear to the UPND, they should not create a bad legacy of segmenting Zambia, that this region belongs to these people and not these people. So all Zambian players, political players and politicians are free to visit any province and any district. President HH is welcome in Eastern, in Muchinga, in Luapula, in Northern Copper Belt, in Western, in Southern, because he's a Zambian citizen. And let that be the situation in the case of President Brian Mundubile or running mate Makebi Zulu. Let them visit any province, any district across Zambia, because Zambia belongs to all of us, regardless of our tribe, regardless of our political affiliation, or indeed regardless of our regional attachment or alignment. So we want to emphasize that that culture of stoning people who are going to specific provinces or regions is barbaric, it's unlawful, and that is primitive politics. In a civilized democracy like Zambia, we don't expect people to start stoning anyone. Just like we don't expect anyone to stone President HH anywhere, or the Vice President, Madam Nalumango, anywhere. She shouldn't be stoned. HH shouldn't be stoned. Just like Makebi Zulu or President Brian Mundubile shouldn't be stoned anywhere by anyone. Because that is primitive politics and it's barbaric behavior, which we should condemn and put on record that it is shameful, it's wrong, and it's primitive politics. Democracy demands political tolerance of others. So let us respect our political players and actors and politicians as they campaign countrywide. And want to appeal also to our members across the country, the alliance members. Please don't attack anyone. Let's campaign peacefully. Let's campaign in a civil way. Let's campaign as Christians, and let's campaign as Zambians, because after elections, we are going to stand as one Zambia, one nation. We only have one country, and one country under one citizenry. All of us, we are one. So there is no need to shed blood. What we saw to Ibu and General Kanini in Shubuyunji, Mwembeshi, is uncalled for. Why should Ibu or General Kanini be attacked in cold blood just because they're campaigning? What type of political competition and what type of political politics is that? Where you want the blood of your competitor. You want to eliminate the life of your competitor physically, daylight. That's primitive politics. We should all condemn. That's barbaric. So we want to appeal to everyone that, look, we have walked a long journey. Where we are going is near. Next week we're having elections. Let's finish this campaign and the election in a peaceful, in a lawful, and in a civilized and democratic manner. There is no need for barbaric behavior. There is no need for political violence. There's no need to shed blood of anyone. There is no need, because democracy in a civilized society like ours does not call for bloodshed, violence, or brutality. It doesn't call for that. So we need to condemn that. What happened to Ibu as well as General Kanene. We should also condemn the stoning of Mukandila and his animate Makebizo and the team in Western Province. That's barbaric, it's unacceptable and shameful. Thank you.
I think we must also condemn what transpired in Livingstone, where our colleagues decided to stone members of the opposition as they were receiving the ballots. That barbaric behavior is highly condemned. Now, this is equally an indictment on President Hakainde Hichilema to ensure that he tames his cadres. He must be able to tame his cadres. If he doesn't have control over the taming of his cadres, let him instruct the police to take action. We cannot live in a country where, when an offense is committed by non-individuals, they are on camera, the police is not acting. This is an indictment on the President of the Republic of Zambia. He should not just give blunt, empty statements. Let him condemn the violence and instruct that the law must take its course. Because lives have been lost, blood has been shed, all in the name of democracy. We should not get to a point where people are not arrested. The UPND has made a statement today, or is it yesterday, alleging that those that decided to act violently were members of the opposition clad in regalia for UPND. Today we are challenging the Inspector General of Police, Grafa Umsamba, to ensure that those that have been alleged to have been clad in UPND regalia, let them be arrested today, because they are known. They are on camera. We've got the pictures. So let's get a statement from the police by the end of today's business day, informing us that they have arrested those criminals that we saw in Western Province stoning, the criminals we saw in Livingstone committing offenses. Because you cannot sit and allege that these are opposition clad in political regalia for the ruling, and yet you are not taking action. So today we are challenging you. Take action. Effect arrests. Tell the Zambian people that you are now taking action and you are effecting arrests on perpetrators of violence. We've been everywhere in the country. Our campaigns have been very peaceful. We have not provoked anyone whatsoever. We have been provoked, highly provoked, but we've decided to exercise maximum restraint because we know that Zambians do not like violence. Zambians do not like the sight of blood, especially at the expense of our democracy. So we are challenging you. Effect arrests. The pictures are there, the footages are there. Before close of business, if the police is not effecting arrests, then we will know that the instruction has come from Hakainde. We will know that the instruction has come from Hakainde to ensure that his people attack us and they should not be arrested. Thank you very much, countrymen and women.
Yeah. To also allow the chairman elections to amplify and add, since it's here, yes, to the issues we have articulated with police.
Thank you very much, SG. My issue is going to the district electoral officers. They need to know that ECZ was established through the Act of Parliament to act on behalf of the Zambians. Therefore, this engagement that has been established by our SGs and ECZ today is creating hope. And they must know that whatever list that they are going to produce that is illegal, they must know that they are on their own and the law will visit them. And we will make sure that that law is excised to the latter, because Zambia is well known for peace. And if they are going to be bringing in those attributes, it means they want Zambia to be on fire. We are not going to allow a district electoral officer to bring Zambia on fire. Zambians have been given an opportunity to elect the president of their choice, a member of parliament of their choice, the mayor of their choice, and councillors of their choice. And them bringing in dubious documents, working with the district commissioners, will not be accepted by all well-meaning Zambians. And I'm happy, SG, that ECZ is coming out in the open, because Zambians were worrying. They are worrying as to why we have a situation where people who have gone through the test have not been picked. Zambians were worrying. And today, the fact that ECZ has said that, and we hope what ECZ is saying is not lip service. Because if it's lip service, they must know that the reason why they were established is to conduct credible, free and fair elections, and not in other way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, our countrymen and women, we wanted to address you, our noble citizens, specifically on the issue of the post staff recruitment and publications. And as we have all ably articulated, ECZ has told us officially through acting director of operations that they will also issue a statement, because we made that as a request, that they should also issue a formal statement today. And they said that they took note and they ran with it. So we're expecting also a formal statement from ECZ head office to guide the stakeholders and the district electoral officers on the issue, on this notorious issue of the lists. Because the list of the post staff must be in line only with those, as we said, who sat for the aptitude test and passed. If the district electoral officers we earlier indicated gives out or publishes in any other list, that is not an acceptable list, that is a fraudulent list. ECZ has made it very clear. So district electoral officers do the right thing according to the electoral code of conduct and the electoral guidelines and regulations. Don't manufacture lists in your homes. Don't manufacture lists with the district commissioners. Don't manufacture any post staff lists with the cadres. Follow the people who sat for the aptitude test and passed on merit, and publish name, NRC number, and other relevant details. The Zambian people, we have agreed with this here today. The Zambian people deserve to know who is going to be the post staff. You can't have elections at your nearest school. You don't know the person who is going to be the post staff. Palichabeka NRC number. Nganga ni chipuku. Nganga ni ghost. If that's a ghost, that's a dead person. How do you know if that's not a foreigner or a criminal? So you see, transparency must be in everything. The voters want to know the full names and NRC number of their post staffs. So that list is going to be published in all the districts through the district electoral officers, but mark the importance, the important aspect. It has to be in line with the list of the initial list was published by the people sat for the aptitude test. No strangers, no new names. So our candidates, our structures, and all Zambians mark that. That's why we are saying from now onwards, for this election to be credible and transparent, is all eyes on the district electoral officer. That's what we have declared as an alliance, isn't it, comrade?
Yes. Yeah.
For us to have declared as an alliance that
Yes.
all eyes are now on the district electoral officer. Because elections happen at district level, and from the district they'll go to the polling station. So our eyes are at this level and polling station level,
Yes.
and the constituency territory office. So we're focusing on those three lines: district, constituency office, and polling stations. Our voter protection teams and our voter protection political machinery has been designed to focus on those three lines: the polling station, the voting center constituency, and the district, the civic center. So the district electoral officers, we are now going to be your partners permanently and in a lawful way and peacefully. So receive our officials, receive our candidates, receive the Zambians that have come to your offices. When they come with questions, please answer them. It has to be done in a transparent and in an open manner, because this election has to be in a manner that we all want it to be, as per law, free, fair, and transparent. We thank you, unless there is any question from the media people.
Questions? Justice, start with your name, the media house.
My name is Darius. I just want to see maybe because it doesn't come out. What is your biggest fear?
So maybe we need to make it very clear to the nation. There's a tendency that has been developed by the regime leader, Hakainde, of employing people at rallies. That is unlawful. You can't run a nation like it's your farm. No. So, what we are saying is there's a process and procedure of employing these post staff. They applied, an advert was first published. They applied, those that applied were called in for aptitude tests. They attended the aptitude tests. Results were published. Now, from the infinite wisdom of ECZ, they decided that they are not publishing the names because they don't want abantu kusevanika. So they published the results as well as the NRC numbers of those that made it. So those results and NRC numbers of those that made it, there were no names. We raised an issue of concern to say you can't just publish NRCs. We want you to publish the names in full, because like my comrade indicated, we don't know ngafi puku ngainishi. So what we want to do is publish this. So there's an undertaking from ECZ to say we shall publish the names versus the NRCs that were published initially. So if we are going to have new names and new NRC numbers, it means someone somewhere is trying to undermine the process that creates integrity of the process of appointing post staff. So it's only normal that we should have the correct things done. These colleagues at ECZ are performing a statutory function, and we expect that this statutory function must be respected by everyone, because it's a component of the rule of law and democracy. And as citizens who believe in this democratic process, who have said, if we did not, by the way, believe in this democratic process, because we've already declared Brian Mambula as the people's president, he would have been in State House by now. But because we've said we believe in this democratic process, we are going to ensure that an election is held and a vote is cast by every well-meaning Zambian, and the post staff perform their statutory functions in accordance with the law. I hope you've been answered, sir.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Next one.
Maybe I can pick it up and then you. Yeah, I think it's important to also be very realistic. We've seen the video and we've seen the photos they are putting. We saw, to the best of our knowledge, a gentleman who was putting on his hoodie. And when you look at that hoodie, there is nothing written there UPND. So I don't think it's right that anyone should decide to indicate or align an individual to being UPND. But if the investigations will show otherwise, the police will have to do their work. But what we have challenged the police is, colleagues, let's investigate this and ensure that we bring the perpetrators to book. This must be a free and fair election. No one must be intimidated. No one must be intimidated. Those who think they can intimidate us, by the way, this moment we want to tell you, right now the mindset we have and the characters we have are those of a honey badger. If you know the characteristics of a honey badger, you will know. Apana tupama. There is nothing you can do to intimidate us. It's not possible. At least not now. My good comrade here was unlawfully detained by this regime. You think for 9 months, you think by now he can be scared of these these kinds of intimidation? It's not possible. This election shall be free and fair, and the Zambian people will choose a leader of their choice, and that leader of their choice, we already know how the numbers are looking. It is brand new. We are very confident. We are winning these elections, and Hakainde knows.
And also, just to add is that I think the emphasis why we are interested in the poster, which these are people who are going to administer elections. So, if elections will be free and fair, the post staff must be recruited in a transparent and credible manner. Full stop. You can't allow somebody who has never flown a plane to fly you as passengers. They will crush you. So a person who never sat for the aptitude tests and the passed as a post staff should not administer elections and should not be anywhere nearby and should not be on any list, because those are coming as enemies of democracy. Those are coming as anarchists. If a person appears on the post staff list who never sat for the aptitude test and passed, comrade, it means they are coming as political anarchists and enemies of democracy. And it means they're not coming to administer elections. They are coming to cause chaos in that polling station. They are a mercenary. They will come as a political mercenary. So why did this electoral office do the right thing? Only the people sat there for the aptitude test and passed. We must be able to administer our elections. So we are sticking to that because we want free and fair elections in a transparent and credible manner. Any question, or we call it a day?
It seems there's no question.
Okay, if there's no question, we'd like to thank you sincerely, our members of the media fraternity, our country.